Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online, as well as what to do to earn some money this week. We're also going to be talking about the new cars and what I think of them. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and jump into this, starting off with the discounts that are on this week. Now, there's very few discounts this week. Obviously, we did just get a lot of new content into GTA with the release of the Los Santos Drug Wars update. But to start off on Benny's, we have the Progen Italy GTB on discount this week. That is the only discount on all of Benny's. On Elitist Travel, we have the Vestra on sale this week. This is a pretty OG plane in Grand Theft Auto Online. In fact, it was the first plane that was actually added into Grand Theft Auto Online. A former fastest plane in the game, although not very useful by today's standards, not very fast by today's standards either. Definitely just not really the best plane, but if you guys are looking for, you know, a small new plane to buy that's on discount, the Vestra is your only option this week. On Legendary Motorsport, under the two-door category, we have the Benefactor Sterling GT on sale this week, guys. The Sterling GT is one of the best sounding cars in all of Grand Theft Auto Online. It is pretty awesome. I will just say that there is something that's kind of weird going on with the discounts this week, particularly with the Sterling GT. And the discount on Southern San Andreas Super Autos. The Sterling GT, if you didn't know, for the past about 5 months has had a glitch where it is completely bulletproof. If you're inside this thing, you could literally not be shot out of it. The only way you could be killed is by blowing up the entire car. Now, that's not very hard to do because it only takes one explosive, but it was pretty good against AI. Now, this is a glitch that happened with the Sterling GT when Rockstar added a new livery to the vehicle. Now, this is the second time they've actually done it. Something to do with them adding the livery to the car essentially makes the livery into like just a force field around the car and allows nobody in the vehicle to be shot. This has been patched with the Sterling GT with the release of the Los Santos Drug Wars update. Now, if we go over to Southern San Andreas Super Autos, the only other discount that's on this week, we will see that the Karen Kuruma, the regular version of it, is also discounted. Now, the Karen Kuruma with the Los Santos Tuners DLC had a livery added to it, which made it completely bulletproof. So it's very interesting that these two cars are on sale this week. I think that Rockstar is kind of trolling us with this. I think that Rockstar is definitely, you know, kind of admitting to their mistake with this. They're doing some sort of little meme right now, which I think is kind of funny. Now, all these vehicles that are on discount right now, they're not particularly very good. I mean, the Karen Kuruma, you can't really go wrong with it, especially for 88 grand or 65 grand. It's a pretty good car. The Sterling GT is another one that you should definitely pick up. I recommend buying that car. It is pretty awesome. However, we also have to talk about the new cars in GTA this week. We have the Annis 300R. I have a customization and review on all of these cars, by the way, so if you're interested in knowing a little more about them, those are all on my channel. The Annis 300R is an Imani Tech vehicle. It has kind of similar Imani Tech to the Bravado Buffalo STX and cars from the Contract DLC like the Champion, the Jubilee. It can take about 4 RPGs with the armor upgrade, and without the armor it only takes 1. So it's not exactly very strong. The thing that I find really weird about it is it doesn't have the front mounted machine guns like all of the other Contract DLC Imani Tech vehicles. It's more similar to the Obey Omni EGT and the Bravado Greenwood in that it doesn't have those front mounted machine guns or those bullet resistant windows. But it also doesn't share the armor that the Imani Tech EGT or the Bravado Greenwood have. So it's kind of an interesting car. It's almost like a 3rd gen Imani Tech vehicle. So it's interesting. It's pretty fast. It sounds really good. It's got some good customization, but it's just not exactly the best vehicle ever. I would say that I recommend picking it up, but only if you have a lot of extra money. Next up, we have the Overflawed Entity MT. Now, this is an interesting car because it has engine resistance, which basically means that the car is much slower than it actually should be. However, what they've done to counteract this on the expanded and enhanced edition, the Overflawed Entity MT has an HSW upgrade that can be applied to it. So that will definitely make the car a lot faster. The problem is it still is not going to handle like super great, but I must say that I do actually like how this thing handles. Now, if you're on the PC, Xbox One, or PlayStation 4 version of the game, you will not have this HSW upgrade that makes the car much faster. On PC, PS4, and Xbox One, the car is quite a lot slower, and you can definitely feel the engine resistance a lot more. Now, is that to say that it's a bad car? Honestly, no, I do actually like this thing a lot. I think it is a pretty good car. It's got great customization, looks great. Despite the engine resistance and the advanced handling flags, it is still a very, very fast car, and I think that it is still worth picking up. So that's it for the 2 new legendary motorsport vehicles. It's time to go down to Southern San Andreas Super Autos and talk about these 3. The Declasse Tulip M100 for $1.6 million is a pretty cool muscle car. It's got some good customization. It's got generally pretty good performance, especially as far as older muscle cars go. It actually handles really well, it accelerates well, and it's got a pretty high top speed as well. Good customization. Really nothing bad to say about the Tulip M100. It is actually a pretty good car. The Zirconium Journey 2 is the next slowest vehicle from the update. The Entity is the fastest, the 300R is the second fastest, the Tulip is the third fastest, and then we have the Journey 2. The Journey 2, it's pretty quick actually. It's not as horrible as you would, maybe expect it to be. To drive. It actually handles decently. It goes uphill pretty well despite its weight and its size. The acceleration is okay and the top speed is okay as well. But for 600 to 800k, I can't necessarily say that I recommend picking it up. Whereas the Tulip, the Entity, and the 300R I all think are pretty good cars. And then we have the BF Surfer Custom, which I think is the worst vehicle from this DLC so far, coming in at 442k up to 600k. This thing is absolutely pathetic performance-wise. It's actually worse than the Zirconium Journey 2, which is crazy because this is literally a full-blown camper and this is just kind of an, a Volkswagen bus. But it is terribly slow. It's a horrible vehicle to drive. It does have really good customization, I will say that. But as far as driving it goes, I would rather do a lot of different things than drive the Surfer Custom. So that's pretty much it for the new vehicles that are purchasable at the time of recording this video, guys. But we also have to talk about one more vehicle that's out this week, and that is what's sitting behind me here. This is the brand new Brickade 6x6. Now this is an upgradable vehicle, and this will act as your acid lab, which is the new business that's out this week with the Los Angeles Drug Wars DLC. Now we don't really know too much about the business yet. It hasn't been long enough to really learn about it. But what I can tell you is without the equipment upgrade, you barely make any money with this vehicle. However, I have to actually talk about the vehicle itself because the vehicle itself is quite good. This vehicle is available once you do the 6 initiation missions through Dax and Ron with the Los Angeles Drug Wars update. Once you do this, you will be offered a setup mission. Once you do that, you will be offered the Brickade 6x6 for $750,000, and you get access to the Acid Lab business with that purchase as well. The Brickade 6x6 is now upgradable when you have it in your freak shop, which is Dax's new sort of area that he occupies, I guess, and that's where you launch your business from. You can actually upgrade this thing. It's got armor upgrades, engine upgrades, brake upgrades, transmission and turbo as well as some cosmetic options as well. Now I am a big fan of the Brickade, I always have been, but the 6x6 version actually makes it worth owning. From what I hear as well, this thing can take 48 RPGs or 48 homing missiles. So it is also the second most armored vehicle in the game. Now I am going to be doing an armor test on this vehicle a little bit later today, so you guys can stay tuned for that and see officially just how strong this vehicle is. But for right now, what I have heard from several different sources is that this thing does actually take 48 RPGs and 48 homing missiles, making it, yeah, the second most armored vehicle in the game. And I would argue that this thing is actually better than the MOC, which is the most armored vehicle in the game, because I think that this thing is much faster and just generally kind of better to drive, and it also offers you a business on the inside of it. So I think that that is pretty cool. As you guys can see as well in the traffic here, this thing is an absolute battering ram. You can just knock anything out of your way, and yeah, it won't cause you any sort of a problem. I just literally killed that motorcyclist and his bike exploded under the vehicle, and we're still going fine. This thing's really good. Definitely you guys are going to want to complete those 6 DAX missions and then unlock this thing for yourselves and buy it for 750k. The Acid Lab business, like I said, we don't know too much about it. I will have a video going over it once I actually understand the business fully and can report everything to you guys. But for right now, just buy this thing for the performance of it and what it can do for you outside of the business that comes with it. So anyway guys, that's pretty much it for the vehicles this week. We got to talk about what to do to earn some money. So guys, to earn money this week, like I said, we have the Acid Lab. Not the most lucrative business ever so far, at least. Basically off of a $60,000 resupply, you make $74,000, which if you can count and do math, that is a $14,000 profit. So unless you get the equipment upgrade in this thing, I'm not sure that it's super worth running as of just yet, but I I will update you guys on this as soon as I possibly can. Probably the best way of earning money this week, guys, in Grand Theft Auto Online is through doing DAX missions. They are the only thing that's double money in RP right now, which is kind of unfortunate. You can get these missions by calling DAX as your phone contact and by just requesting work. Now, these missions typically pay $50,000, but right now they are paying $100,000 so long as you do the mission 100% correctly. They do take a little bit longer than something like a payphone hit, so honestly right now I think payphone hits are probably more worth doing to make some money. I'd say run your regular businesses right now as well, because none of this stuff is paying super great. But at the same time, if you want to get all your DAX missions done so you can upgrade your acid lab, now is by far the best time to do that, because at least you're going to get double the rewards for doing them. The podium vehicle within the casino this week is the brand new Zirconium Journey 2. So if you guys are planning on getting this thing, I would definitely say come to the podium and just try to win this thing first, because that is going to be pretty important to do. You're going to save yourself a good chunk of change by winning this thing off the podium if you possibly can, rather than actually buying it. Within the LS car meet, the prize ride this week is the Enos Windsor drop. Now yes, we did just have this on the casino podium not very long ago. I think it was literally 2 weeks ago. So if you guys missed the opportunity to win it on the podium, now you can win it through the LS car meet. In order to do this, you're gonna have to place top 3 for 3 days in a row in street race series races, which is not super hard to do. So I would definitely say it's probably worth trying to win this car. It does go for $900,000, which is a pretty hefty price. And if you guys can get it for free, I would say you absolutely might as well. And of course, last but not least, guys, we got to talk about the time trials. Your RC Bandito time trial this week is La Fuente Blanca. Your regular time trial is Coast to Coast, and your HSW time trial is up by the Quartz building right here, and it ends by the lighthouse all the way up right here. Anyway, guys, that is it for what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. I know it's not a super exciting week. The DLC is a little bit lackluster, I feel like. I'm a tiny bit disappointed with it, I would say. But of course, make the most of the rest of this week. I'm sure we're gonna get some good stuff next week, as well as some new drip feed content. One more thing that I will just mention in this video right at the end here, I will make a dedicated video to this as well. The Declasse Tahoma coupe that Rockstar teased to us for completing the heist challenge will be available from December 16th until December 18th for absolutely free for every player in Grand Theft Auto Online. So if you guys are interested in getting that car, it is going to be available from the 16th to the 18th of December. Anyway, guys, that is it for the video. If you enjoyed this, if you learned something, a like is of course appreciated. If not, dislike, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.